Good evening. My name is Claire Hembrow, and I'm going to be giving my presentation too on the UK's trade mission with India. I'm going to start by giving some background information, which will help later when applying Module 6 to information. At the beginning of the week, it was decided that with the UK leaving the European Union, the Chancellor of the UK, Philip Hammond, would work on establishing a trade deal with India. A referendum on whether to move forward with the UK leaving the European Union, which is referred to as Brexit, was held on the 23rd of June in 2016. The UK's Prime Minister, Theresa May, who was originally against Brexit, began the withdrawal process on March 29th of that same year. The trade mission with India is an effort to build a partnership with India so that the UK and India can become a global manufacturing powerhouse, which would be mutually beneficial to both countries. Many individuals who were against Brexit, such as the UK's Prime Minister, believed that the UK leaving the European Union would cause mass economic depression, not only in the United Kingdom, but also throughout the whole European Union system. And many also predicted that house values would fall, unemployment levels would skyrocket, and the United Kingdom's emergency budget would have to be spent to make up for the huge spending cuts that would need to be made. In order to better understand the material, it is pretty important to know the main details of the European Union. The EU is an economic and political partnership between 28 European countries which began shortly after the end of World War II in hopes of establishing some form of economic cooperation, with the idea that the countries in the European Union would trade together and were in turn less likely to go to war with each other. It's often described as a single market, being that it allows the movement of people and goods as if the European Union was one country. The European Union also has its own form of currency, which is known as the euro. It is also important to have background information on Article 50, which is the plan for any country wishing to leave the European Union. There are 4 parts to this article, with the first being that any member of the European Union may decide to quit the European Union at any time, but the second part is that the said country must notify the European Council and negotiate its withdrawal with the other members of the EU. The European Union is given 2 years to reach an agreement on the terms of the leaving state's departure from the European Union. However, the existing state does not get to take part in this discussion of said terms. Article 50 was created as part of the Treaty of Lisbon, and this treaty was signed by all European Union member states and became a law in 2009, which was a huge step for the European Union, being that previously there was no way for any member to leave the EU. Brexit, the process of the UK leaving the EU, began on March 29th of this year, meaning that the UK will most likely be able to leave the EU come March 29th of 2019, if all negotiations go as planned. When applying Module 6, there are many things we can look at. When looking at mercantilism, the balance of trade is positive in the European Union, which is a characteristic of mercantilism. It can also be noted that mercantilism can be related to the idea that countries that trade together are less likely to wage wars on each other, since both countries are benefiting from each other. When applying economic liberalism, it is easily recognized that the EU is an international organization that allows its member states to mutually benefit off of each other. The EU emphasizes shared interests between its member states in terms of economic exchanges and believes heavily that supply and demand in markets is necessary. The European Union Parliament has a non-interfering role and allows states to settle problems together as a way to promote economic efficiency, which is also a characteristic of economic liberalism. When looking at comparative wealth, the EU allows trade because trade creates wealth among the member states by allowing states to choose which goods or services they wish to provide in order to better benefit themselves. Also, it can be noted that the EU is considered a World Trade Organization. An example to explain why could be that the states who wish to leave the European Union must negotiate with the other states in order to leave. That is it for my presentation. Here are a list of the resources that I used. Thank you so much for watching.